wander the paths into the forest and spend the night there. And it was, gosh, well, it was summertime. And I remember asking the camp counselor, our tent counselor, if she would go to the bathroom with me because I was scared of the forest. And she just kind of looked at me, laughed, and said, "No, you have to go by yourself." And I was terrified. So I'm trapped. But I was trying to find the bathroom, and the next thing I know, the sky got really dark. And I didn't remember this part for a long time. I mean, like decades. And it was a huge saucer that was coming over the tops of the pine trees. And it had the lights around the edge of it were going all different colors. And I didn't see a top on it because of the angle that it was. And the next thing I know, I was standing on the same path. I had wet my pants and I went back crying to the campsite.
Welcome to Breaking the Silence, and this is In Conversation with, and today we have Erin McAdam. I met Erin through the internet, and you've been coming to our support groups that are private through Zoom, and I want to welcome you to the show. This is your first time doing this, is it?
It is, and thank you for having me.
Well, absolutely. But you're a very interesting person, and you have experiences, and you have had experiences, and you have. I've seen. I think it was you that I saw the photographs of the orbs. That did you photograph? Did you do that?
No, not that you've seen, but I do
Okay.
have some from my front door camera.
Okay, that's great. But like I said, welcome to the show. We've been talking for a long time and getting to know each other. And Mary, you be coming to the all women's support group too on Zoom,
I
which
have,
is
yeah.
wonderful. Um, I'm just glad to have you here. Where should we begin? You need to talk and tell the audience all about yourself because they tell me I talk too
Oh
much.
my gosh.
And let the guests talk. So I'm letting you talk.
Okay, well, um, gosh, right now in my life, I'm an energy healer.
Hmm.
I do light work, and I'm also a medium and a psychic and a soul reader, and so I work with the other side a lot.
That's something I'm very interested in, but I think we should all be very interested in it.
I've had three
So,
near-death experiences too.
well, tell us about those.
Well, the first one I had was February 20th, 1999,
Hmm.
and I ended up in the hospital in the emergency room, and I knew I was dying. And when I got into the hospital, I was walking on my own accord. By the time they finally called me back, I was in a wheelchair, and they called my name, and all I could do was put my finger up. What had happened was it felt like I had a long, sticky, tarry hand come up from my esophagus, grab my lips, and pull everything inside, and I felt like I was self imploding. Um,
Wow.
they they wheeled me back, and there was the nurse's desk, and there was this one tall nurse standing there, and she's on the phone, and she goes, "Are you Erin McAdam?" And I say, "Yeah." She goes, "Your daughter's on the phone," and hands me the phone. And now my daughter didn't know where I was. Because I wasn't living with her at the time. But that was like this one little glimmer of hope that something was there that was bigger than me. And so they wheeled me back, and I was I was trying to write uh, my will on a piece of paper with a red pen. I remember that part. And I also remember that my world was closing down like this, and I could have heard a pin drop at the end of the hall. That's how sharp my senses had become.
Oh yeah.
And they, at this, then they wheeled me to where there was a male nurse that was working on me, and he tried to draw out some blood to put in the centrifuge. And what he got was clumped out like cottage cheese, and he couldn't get enough to even put in the centrifuge. And then the next thing I know, my world went zoop, and I was on the other side. And what I experienced was it felt like I was in a huge room with a million candle watt power light. There's no light on earth that can describe what it's like. It is just so bright and so loving. And I just went, I'm finally home. And I felt like I landed in pink cotton candy clouds because it was the
Yeah.
first time in my life that I was out of pain. My whole life I've been in pain, whether it's physical, emotional, psychological, all of it. Um, and it was just this feeling of relief finally. Then the next thing I remember is I'm laying on my back and I hear and feel these words vibrating through my body. You have to go back. And I started getting really mad. And I was screaming back, you don't understand. I tried really hard to get here. And again, it's like, it's not your time came flooding through my body. Like every cell in my body was resonating with this vibration. And it was a deep sound. And then I got even madder. It's like, no, no, you don't understand. I tried to kill myself 8 times. I'm where I'm supposed to be. And again, it was this huge vibration through my body. You've got to go back. And the next thing I know, I'm looking up in this male nurse's face, and he looks down at me and he goes, you guys always come back all pissed off. I was like, well,
Wow.
no shit. I didn't want to come back here, right? And especially look at a snarky male nurse's face in mine. Um, so that was my first NDE. And that NDE actually changed my life. Before that, I was homeless, and then I was living in a 16 by 16 shed in the back of somebody's house.
Wow.
Um,
Did that
yeah,
nurse,
I
did
had
that
lost my
nurse,
kids.
did that nurse, did you get a chance to talk to him or her and find out because of what they said to you initially that they had experienced that before with patients?
Well, from the way that he had said that to me, I knew he had.
Okay.
I knew he had experienced people coming back from death, right? And yeah, so he was trying to get me to sit up, and he looked at me and he goes, said something about having the mopes, and I got really that even incensed me further. And my brain's going, wait, mopes are for heroin addicts. And I thought at that time I was trying to put down all the pain that I was feeling, all the memories that I had throughout my life with speed and alcohol. And I got mad because, what I took didn't give you the mopes. So anyway,
Yeah.
it was just one of those little things that I needed to get me ready to do something different in my life, which I did. I got into recovery at that point in time, and I haven't looked back. And that was over 27 years ago. That was February
27.
20th, 1999.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how old were you?
41.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're still at that point in your life. People, it's funny, younger you look at you as being older, but from where we're standing now, we realize there's so much more maturity yet to come, and that's still a very rough period. I know that myself, I was having a hard time at that age.
Right. Right. Um,
So
yeah.
you went into
I mean,
recovery and you never looked back.
no, yeah. And I've never relapsed. Um, I hit a bottom sufficient enough to never want to go back. So yeah, when you've died, there's really nowhere else to go
Yeah,
after
that's
that.
true.
So
Did
yeah,
you feel that
yeah,
this was something that you were supposed to go through and experience, that it was very important for you to do that in order for your life to continue with um, that new perspective that you couldn't have achieved if you hadn't gone
definitely.
through that? Yeah, isn't that
Yeah,
something? I
yeah,
hear this
yeah,
all the time, which is why I
yeah,
asked. So the
yeah.
second time, what caused the second time, if I may
Well,
ask?
you may. It was July of 2021. And a year prior to that, I had been diagnosed with Lyme disease and babesiosis and tick-borne relapsing fever and mast cell activation syndrome and toxic mold toxicity. And so
Wow.
I was on, yeah, yeah. Um, the Lyme literate doctor I was seeing put me on antibiotics. So it was oral antibiotics, it was
Mhm.
antivirals, it was antifungals, and then it was intermuscular antibiotics, along with a whole host of other things. And then it was IV antibiotics. And that got me so sick, I collapsed in my home. And um, my daughter called the ambulance, and they strapped me in and you know was going down the walkway with me. And once again, my daughter goes, "Mom, you can't leave me. We just started our relationship." And I was like, "Ugh." Right, here we go again. And so they put me in the ambulance, and the EMT kept trying to run a line, and he couldn't get one. And I just looked at him and I said, "No, don't even try anymore." And the whole trip to the hospital, and this was during COVID, right?
Mhm.
Um, I was floating above my body in the ambulance, looking out the rear windows. And when we got to the hospital and the wheels of the gurney hit the ground, I went right back into my body. And so that was number two. It wasn't a great, big, huge experience like number one, but they don't have to be. Yeah.
No, they don't.
So no, and I spent 10 days in the hospital after that, trying to stay alive. Yeah.
And so then you recovered from those illnesses?
I still have those illnesses, but I am
Okay.
not at the point where I used to be. Yeah.
Right.
My world right now has shut down tremendously because I cannot be around people that wear fragrance of any sort, whether it's laundry soap, perfume, deodorant, hand lotion, all the whole nine yards. I get very ill and I will go into anaphylactic shock.
Wow. And
Yeah.
that's your actual body doing that, not just an incredible sense of smell. It's just it's you. Wow.
No, yeah. Yeah, it's my body. It's the mast cells in my body. They degranulate and then they explode. And there's 200 different cells that they plug into. So it's not just a single system problem, it's a multi-systemic problem throughout my entire body.
So you have to be very
Yeah,
cautious. So
I
then
do.
you
I
had a
do.
you had a third experience. And one,
Hmm.
most people maybe have one, and
Right,
the vast majority of the public never has them at all, which is why they have such a hard time relating to them or believing that this is real, which I understand.
right,
But you had a third
right,
one.
right. I did. My daughter had left something in my chair, and I came in from picking up a spinning wheel um, that I purchased, and I thought it was a pillow, so I picked it up. And what it actually was it was a white dress that she bought at the store, and it was filled with chemicals.
Oh,
And it hit me in the face, and I sat down and I stopped breathing. And I could feel myself on the precipice of either falling back into life or falling away and going away. Um, But again, I hear my daughter's voice this time in my head. You can't leave me. You can't leave me. And then I took a breath and back I was again. So,
Do you think you were hearing her thoughts?
mm-hmm,
You know,
I
that's what I
was.
got. That's what I
Yeah.
got out of that.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. I
wow.
mean, um, yeah, from I'm hypersensitive to everything. So that's just like, for me, I think of it as another extension of my being able to go put myself in different places.
Yes. So you feel that all your senses are heightened as well as a result?
Yes,
And so,
exactly.
so how long was it after all this happened to you that you started to realize that you had gifts, that you had abilities? Because a lot of people don't have abilities, at least not that they know of. That we all have them, but they're not knowing how to connect with them. But they have a near-death experience, and as a result, they become very psychic, or they can shake hands with somebody and they can feel their entire being, because as we're all connected, when we make contact with people, we can sense them. I mean, this makes me
Right.
think of the movie that
Yeah.
Stephen King wrote, The Dead Zone, if you remember that movie. And there were other ones too that were made that were really quite amazing, about people who had should have been dead, should have died, didn't, and then after that they had these remarkable abilities. When did you start to realize that
Right.
had happened to you?
Well, this psychic gift stuff was after, a lot of it was after the second NDE. I mean, I've always had something. Um, I've been a healer since I was a kid, and I can connect that in my mind around the same time that I started having experiences.
Right. And so,
So,
of course, that
yeah,
was the next thing I wanted to get to, because I know you're an experiencer as well. And that should really come as no surprise to anybody watching us right now, that these things are all connected. I know a lot of people dig their heels in about it and say, no, they're not, but they are.
I feel they are
Yeah.
very
Oh, I
much
know
so.
you do.
Yeah,
I know you do.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I'm also a trance channel as well.
and
So
so,
yeah,
well, when we talk about channeling, unfortunately, it's got a stigma that goes with it, but that doesn't exist here in our group. It does not. And with most people I know, because they realize that that doesn't mean you're going to uh, start talking in a foreign tongue, or acting like you're an alien or anything like that. Channeling is simply connecting with the source and channeling information and knowledge. Um,
it is. Yeah,
but even
yeah.
more so, because you've had these near death experiences, what they often do when you leave your body is that they cause some sort of connection to something we always have when we're not in our bodies. And that's, you're connected to the source, to all knowledge, to other consciousness. But when you go back into your body, you still retain some of that, enough that uh, these abilities can develop. And have they increased as you've uh, through the years?
Yes. Um, right before I turned 65, I thought to myself, I am going to lean into all those experiences that I've had throughout my lifetime. I'm 65. I might as well figure out if the experiences that I thought I had actually were real. And so I went to my first alien con in 2023, right? And so it was really, really strange. One of the experiences that I had, um, my sister used to live in the bedroom at the end of the hall, and she moved out and went to college. So I got her old bedroom. And I remember a time, it's still a little hazy, but that something was going on outside my windows and I was terrified. And so my dad finally put rebar up outside on my windows, and my
Wow.
mom got blackout night shades so I couldn't see anything, right? Because and I at the time I was I dissociated from that experience. And so I was at coffee one day with my brother, and I said, you know, I have this like really weird. I'm not sure if it was a dream or what happened, but I thought that there was people that used to come peek in my windows. And he goes, there was. And I went,
Oh,
oh
really?
my God.
That's
Yeah.
unusual.
So he confirmed what was going on. And so that actual experience let me know that all those things that were hazy memories actually happened. And that opened a big, like a floodgate, basically, for other experiences that I had, knowing that in fact they were real and they were grounded in truth and reality in the
That
things that
must
I had experienced.
that must have been a very emotional moment for you.
It was, it was, but I didn't tell him why. I just asked him. One of the follow up questions I asked him was, uh, "Do you believe in UFOs?" And he went, "Nope." And I went, "Got it."
Yeah, you
Right.
did.
So
We go no further.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Um, so I don't know if my brothers or sister have had any experiences because we don't talk. Because I've always been a little different than the rest of my family members.
I'm familiar with that. My mother and I didn't talk for 18 years, and
Wow.
then she did what your brother did for you, for me, and it was a chilling moment. I damn near fell off my chair because there's a certain little
Yeah.
tiny part of you that hopes maybe I am just crazy. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm wishing this stuff or something like that. And then someone that would never tell you something like that tells you that and they mean it. And then they go even one step further. They tell you about what was happening to them. But I want to hear what you have to
Right.
say. I want to hear about your experience. I'm just letting you know I've been there. So,
Right. Right. Well, there was. I'll share this.
okay.
That there was one night. I don't. It must have something scary must have happened in my bedroom because I ended up on my brother's orange Naugahyde chairs that had a little table in the middle, so you could tell this was the '60s, right? Orange Naugahyde, and
Yeah.
he had his curtains opened a little bit in his bedroom, and I was curled up looking out his window where there was a telephone pole, and I saw this creature that looked like an inchworm but much bigger go up the telephone pole and take a bite off the top.
Wow.
It was just really weird. And I never said anything to anybody, but I knew because that brother didn't like me very well because I was so much younger than he was. And I was a pest to him, I guess. Um, but I did see that same thing happen when I was living in the shed behind somebody's house. Across a couple of roads, there was another telephone pole, and it was in the middle of the night. And I saw that same thing going up the telephone pole. So
Wow.
it wasn't a one time thing. Yeah, it was until I saw it the second time, I thought it was a figment of my imagination.
What
But
was there a
yeah,
street
so
light? Was there a street light nearby that was casting light on it?
the night that it was as an adult, it was a moonlit night. So it was
Yeah,
almost backlit.
I'm seeing light on it. I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I haven't heard anybody else talk about that.
Well, they
Um,
probably wouldn't. I mean, that's but
yeah,
Whitley
yeah,
um, talks about these kind of things a lot. And if you read through the communion letters, there is all kinds of high strangeness in there. And it's my theory that a lot of people think, and I understand it. I'm not going to talk about that because that's going too far. It's enough for them to think I saw a UFO and maybe a gray,
Yeah.
but what else I
Yeah.
saw? And then when you get people together in a group, they'll kind of open up and, you know, you may find
Yeah.
that somebody have seen that, but it's hard to know what's being projected at you. You know, maybe that wasn't a caterpillar, maybe it was a gray or something like that. But
Right.
in your mind thought that that has to be not what I'm seeing, so it's this big caterpillar. Um, wow.
Right. I haven't looked at it that way. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, do you know about my story? And I'll keep it short for those who say I talk too much about the thing that I saw in the kitchen one night. Do you know about that?
I don't remember.
Well, there was
I
a,
have,
you know what a butcher block is, right?
I do.
Yeah, well, you know how big and heavy they are. And when I got up in the 3 in the morning, go get some water from the refrigerator, there was one blocking it. The one we have, and I didn't understand why my late wife put it there. I did a show about it. And it just that's what made me realize I was fully conscious. I go, why did she leave that there? This makes no sense. And then it started to move and its legs moved, but then it was two legs, and then it was you know what. And it looked at me and it shot through the refrigerator, and where it would have come out would have been the living room. And I ran to see if I could see it. But we had this split second moment where we were looking right at each other. But my mind saw tan colored legs, and I guess my brain thought, oh, I'm seeing a butcher block. Or maybe it was taking that from my mind. I'll never be sure
Right.
what, but you will hear other people describe things like this, that they saw something else and then it became a gray or
Right.
a light being
Right.
or a tall white or so that's something to consider. So tell us more. I
Yeah.
mean, this
Yeah.
is fascinating. This
Oh,
is
gosh.
I mean, I'm
Well,
sure you've had a lot of experiences, and I
I
know
have.
everyone would love to hear it. So I'll be quiet.
Okay. One, one of the other experiences was probably when I was about the same age, like 8, 7, 8, 9. And my brother and my parents shipped us off to a well, I can't say day camp because we spent 3 weeks there, um, but sleepaway camp. I guess that's what they call them now. And I did not want to be there at all because I was too young still. Um, but that we would do this thing every Wednesday, which was called Outpost. So we would, take our little sleeping bags and go wander the paths into the forest and spend the night there. And it was, gosh, well, it was summertime. And I remember asking the camp counselor, our tent counselor, if she would go to the bathroom with me because I was scared of the forest. And she just kind of looked at me, laughed, and said, "No, you have to go by yourself." And I was
Whoa,
terrified. So
that wasn't cool.
I'm trapped. It really was. I mean, I can remember the pants that I was wearing. They were orange jeans with little yellow daisy flowers with green and dots in them. And I love those pants. But I was trying to find the bathroom, and the next thing I know, the sky got really dark. And I didn't remember this part for a long time. I mean, like decades. And then it started coming back, and it was a huge saucer that was coming over the tops of the pine trees. And it had the lights around the edge of it were going all different colors. And I didn't see a top on it because of the angle that it was.
Mhm.
And the next thing I know, I was standing on the same path. I had wet my pants and I went back crying to the campsite. And that's all I can remember from it. But I don't, at that point in time, it was dark out. It had gone from early, late afternoon into early evening, and nobody ever went looking for me or anything. Um, so
How old were
that's
you?
one of the things that I call my 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Right, the same time frame that uh, the event happened to me with people looking in my windows, right? I had two big windows in my bedroom there. Yeah. And I don't think I ever said anything to anybody. Um, and then I can remember having a lot of nightmares when I lived there about because we lived down at the bottom of a road and then up the driveway across the little road, there was a great big hilly area. And my dad was a contractor, so we would take like the refrigerator boxes or the stove boxes, carry them all the way up to the top of the hill in summer, and then ride them all the way down to the road.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of funny.
I did that
But
too, and the overnight
yeah.
summer camps too. I did that as well. Wow,
hmm
a lot of synchronicity here.
Some of the yeah, some of the dreams that I had were um, aliens coming out of the trees and down through the hills. And as um, as an adult, I also had a dream of the same area, except we were micro-sized and we were hiding from all of them that came. But it was interesting. Anyway, one of those dreams that's not a dream, but you say it's a dream anyway.
Well, could it be
Um,
your subconscious bringing forth memories that were buried?
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I I was at my first MUFON conference and I had met some people, and this was 3 years ago as well, 3, 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Anyway, um, and we kind of followed each other around and we're talking, and that was when I had gone to my first experiencer group, and I didn't know what it was, and I walked in there and I sat in the very front of the room and I heard other people talking, and there was Sev Talk, Yvonne Smith, Earl Grey Anderson, and Dr. George Medich sitting up there. And as more people were talking behind me, I started shaking and I couldn't stop shaking. So I finally put my hand up and said, I think I need to talk because if I don't, I'm going to be like this all weekend long. And I started talking and started crying at the same time.
Well, it's very
And
emotional.
I'll never forget. It is. And Dr. George Medich, who is the head of the ERT team
I'm
there,
familiar with him. He's
he
been on
looks
our
at
show.
me and he rubbed his chest and he points at me and he goes, "We're here for you." And I went,
Hmm.
"Oh, shit." Right?
Yeah.
It's like I got caught. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the jig was up there on that one. Yeah. So it felt very validating for me to hear that. Um, um, oh, the one thing that I was going to say was I was probably that same age, 7, 8, 9, 10, and my little next door neighbor friend came over, and we were going to camp out on my backyard lawn overnight. And I I can't remember what she was doing, but I remember laying on my tummy, thinking to myself, "I'm going to turn over and see if I can see some." I can't think of the word. The things that fly through the night, meteors, right? Falling stars.
Meteors. Yeah. Shooting
Yeah,
stars. It
yeah,
all works.
shooting that's yeah. And so I remember turning over, and the next thing I remember is running to the back door of my house, crying and screaming. And I don't remember what it was about. That's the only memory I have from that. But my friends there go, "Were you missing time?" And I went, "Oh, uh, yeah, I was." And it was just another like hit that I hadn't even put those two things together there. It was just really strange for me anyway. And then I remember being 15, I think, 15 or 16, and I was
Hmm.
with my best friend's older sister in God, it must have been an old Dodge van that was primer gray. And we were, we were sitting on Geary Road in Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill area. 11:30 at night, and we were stopped at a stoplight. And I'm looking towards Lafayette, and there were some little foothills there. And I looked way out under the where the, you know, I'm losing my words, where the windshield was, and I
Hmm.
see three huge, bright stars in a triangle. And I was like, whoa. And all of a sudden they go, and they go different directions. And I turned to my friend and I said, did you just see that? And she was just like in a trance, sitting at the steering wheel, totally not there. And it took her a minute or two and she finally came around, but she never saw what I saw.
You never saw what
She
what
was
you saw.
adamant.
And again, did you have
Mm-mm.
missing time there?
I don't remember, but there was no other cars that were around. It was just us. So
It,
I don't remember any missing time at that point, but it was interesting. I'll say that
but
much.
usually what we find or what I know about is that the whoever you're with gets shut down. They just get shut down.
Right.
And I heard Mario Woods and many other people talk about being uh, with someone in the car. They might have even been the driver, and they're just frozen at the steering wheel, and they can't. It's like they're in a trance or something. Um,
Yes.
and they did find later there was missing time. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that
I had
that
no way to measure the missing time.
no, well, you would have had to look at a clock before it happened and then noticed it afterwards, and not everybody has that
Yeah.
luxury. And she didn't see
Yeah.
it, even though her eyes were open and she was
No.
looking at it. That's a dead giveaway to me, anyway. Um,
Hmm.
wow.
Right. Right. And there was a lot of things that happened through the years. Um, I know the last like really strange sighting. Well, I can't say that, but it was on my daughter's birthday in
Hmm.
2021. So it was September 29th of 2021. And I had gotten in my car to go pick up a CBD order for my pain at the dispensary.
Oh, yeah.
And I always drive with my visors down because I really don't want to see anything if I don't have to.
Huh.
But I get on the freeway and I get this message, lift your visor up. So I'm like, I look up there
You
and
heard
there's
it.
a cigar shaped. Yeah,
You heard it.
it was
Yeah.
it was almost instantaneous. But it was like, do this. So I went, oh, oh. And I just was turning the highway and I was contemplating pulling over to the side, but I was almost in the fast lane and I figured it was going to be unsafe. So I took my camera out and I took three pictures. Um, and it was a clear blue sky, except for one scud cloud up there, which was kind of near it, but not really. Um, and that this cigar shaped craft was there, not there, there, not there, not there. And that was it. And it was at 12:15 that this happened. And so I pull up to the dispensary and I go running towards the front door. And I'm like, you're not going to believe what I just saw. I saw a UFO. And they're looking at me like, yeah, right, whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, really?
You're going to a dispensary and you're talking about seeing a UFO.
Yeah.
You know how the
Yeah.
human mind works, and
Exactly.
I'm sure they had some
Exactly.
great
So,
jokes about that, which is fine.
yeah,
But it's just
I'm
human
sure, I'm
nature.
sure they did. So, yeah, I just kind of went, well,
So, did you get a
I shouldn't
picture
be
of it?
telling these people what,
I know, but
what
you were
happened was
excited.
it
You
got,
were excited. You were excited, and you wanted to share it because you know you're not
yeah,
crazy. They don't know that.
yeah, yeah,
So you're going to
yeah.
say, "Hey, I'm a regular person, and I saw this." Well, sort of a regular person, but
Hmm. Right.
did you get a
Yeah.
picture? Did it show up in the?
The pictures that I got were
Mhm.
deflected. They deflected all the way across the highway to buildings on the other side of the highway. When I had my camera this way, it took pictures over here. It was
Wow,
really strange.
wow.
Yeah, they deflected the camera. Yeah. Um, but
I hope
anyway,
I hope they
I
stop that soon.
I know, I know. I picked up my order and I walked around and I got in my car and I was like, okay, well. I'll be fine. Just take a few breaths. So I get out of the parking lot and I'm at the edge of where the street is, and I look up, and above the hills were five white birds circling on the thermals. And
Mhm.
then I looked a little bit closer. I'm like, those aren't white birds. And then I looked again, and then there was a bunch of blackbirds with wings right underneath them. And I went, those white orbs have no wings on them. So I had pulled out on the street, and pulled over and got out of my car, and we got my camera out. And by the time I got the camera ready to go, they had gone zoop and went away. I was like, dang it. But they weren't white. They were iridescent, like a soap bubble,
Yeah.
clear, but this iridescent glow about them. Um, and what I thought was really strange about the positioning of the cigar shaped craft was it was almost triangulated with the Concord Naval Weapons Station,
Concord.
Martinez, and the petroleum fields. Where petroleum processing
Yeah,
plants were.
I know where they
So
are.
I thought that,
I'm from the Bay Area. My mother grew up in
yeah,
Walnut Creek, so I know what you're talking
yeah,
about. Remember driving
yeah, out
past
in
them.
Martinez, yeah.
They've been there forever.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And so after that, I stopped by my friend's house and I was like, guess what I just saw? They did the
Oh
same thing
no.
to me. It's like, like wrong people. And yeah, so I went
That
home
was
and
in the
told my daughter, and
2000,
she's,
but that was in the
yeah,
2020s, and by that point, there's been a lot more said about this and leaked out and stuff, and yet they still had that perspective.
yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't want to hear it. You know that's
Mm-mm,
about to change,
no.
right? They're not going to have much
Oh,
choice anymore.
definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be something. Well,
Yeah,
you'll be there for them. I know
yeah,
you will be. So, as I will be for
right,
people who think I'm crazy, I will be there for them.
right. Yeah, yeah. Um, it's like it, my when I had my first NDE, I knew that I was brought back for a purpose. I mean, because I left the hospital and it was pouring rain, and I sat on this bench for 5 hours, wondering, did that just happen to me? Did I really have this experience? Like, did I really die? Did I cross over? And um, I told myself, you know what? Nobody is brainwashing you anymore. What you experienced was a true experience. You need to bring this into yourself and believe, really try to be the best person you can be. And yeah,
That's what we
what
all
I
need
learned
to do.
there was my purpose. My purpose is to be a healer. I thought my purpose was to be a medium but my purpose is as a healer, to help people heal inside and out. And you know, Yvonne Smith has the hypnoregression therapy training
Hmm.
sessions.
Hmm.
I asked her last year, with what I do with people, is it possible for me to go through your training? And she allowed me to do that. I'm not a hypnotist, but I do regression therapy.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
I have had lots of things that happen at night. Um, on my iPhone, I have a notes app, and I've trained myself when something happens to get up, press record, and then I tell my phone what happens. I close it down and I go back to sleep, and I don't think twice about it. Well, I have 2,500 notes on my phone. I
Wow.
have 28 notebooks filled of things that have happened. So, yeah, a
We
lot of
still have
things.
some
I
more
mean,
time here if you want to share some of those that you think are
sure, sure.
if you know
I used
what,
to take a lot of,
what
oh,
we're trying to do here is what you're trying to do. Talking about this, sharing this
right.
helps people who are watching achieve some level of healing that makes their lives um, less painful, and more
Right.
enriches their being. And so, that's why it's important to share these
Yeah.
experiences. So please do.
Right. Right. I I have a circle of women that we call ourselves Sisters of the Dreamtime. We walk the red road. Um, we come into my healing space and we have women's ceremony, small and intimate. But we were on a retreat one year, a couple years back, and I brought up my experiences in the UFO UAP world. And we went around to all these different women, and this one woman, she looked at me and she broke down crying and she says, "Because you shared your weirdness, I feel it's okay to share mine again with you all." And I thought, that's what I'm doing this for. Is if I can help somebody come into feeling comfortable with experiences that they've had that are out of the norm and help them heal in that way, then I've done my purpose while I'm here. Um, I've been grabbed in my sleep around my ankles before. I've had bruises around my legs. Um, one night, something was grabbing one of my ankles. It was my left ankle. I kicked with my right foot so hard I thought I went through the wall and broke my foot, but I didn't. Um, I've been in meditation and have um, been taken from meditation. Somebody came in with it was a purple ship because everything I see is purple through my third eye.
Hmm.
So it was a cigar shaped craft. And I saw one square window, two square windows, three square windows, four square windows, but the windows were rounded at each corner. Um, and that is important to me for some reason. But out of this fourth window, there was a purple beam that came down, and I could see the dust motes that looked like pieces of glitter, like really light purple glitter floating in it.
Hmm.
And the next thing I know is something hits me in the chest and I'm feeling pulled. And the last thing I remember was, oh, this is a familiar feeling. And then I'm gone. I have no recollection of what happened. Um, I was returned to my body sometime later that day. I can't tell you when, but I do know that for the next 2 days, my sense of time and space was all discombobulated. It was
Yeah.
like I was moving in a different world.
You're out of
It
sync
was,
with
it
this,
was, I was, yeah,
with this time
yeah,
and space. Wow.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that the bruises and things too. I mean, I was talking to Mary about this morning, is that, their consciousness very much like us, and some of them are physical, some of them aren't, or they're both and can be both, but they
Hmm.
make mistakes just like
Yeah,
we do. They drop instruments on the floor.
yes,
They will lift you up and your arm will drop and you'll get a bruise or something like, I think I can show this or not. Mary sort of
yeah,
noticed this the other day and there was blood in the bed. This happened during the night in a nice soft bed. And it itches like hell.
yeah,
And you see the three dots kind of in a triangular shape, and it
I
itches,
do.
and it's a burn, and it's driving me nuts right now, because we're talking about it
Right.
probably. But they make mistakes. I don't take that as
Yes, I
something
do.
threatening or something that's designed to hurt me. I took it that as accidents happen.
Well, for most of my life, I was terrified of what was happening
Sure.
until I started understanding more. And it's okay. I asked them to come now, please,
Yeah.
and let me
Yeah.
remember my experience. Please heal me, please, and I don't have that fear anymore, which is huge. I am every once in a while I will get like slammed backwards on the bed. Poof! It's like, whoa, that was a hard landing. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
last summer, I would sleep on my left side, and um, I slept all through the night. One night it was just really weird because I'd always get up. And I woke up and my shoulder was killing me.
Ah,
And I was like, what
this one here.
happened? Right. And so
No,
I
this one.
wasn't thinking about it. So the next night I went and slept back on this one again. And the same thing. I didn't get up, but I woke up and my shoulder was killing me. Well, months later I went and found out, well, my labrum was torn.
Oh,
Now, whose labrum gets torn sleeping,
yeah, that
right?
is
So it
something,
was
isn't
part
it?
of the rotator cuff. Yeah, it was a little odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But I still have a lot of things that happen to me and I'll record it down, Um, very early Christmas Eve. I can't remember if it was 25 or 24. I think it was 25 actually. Um, it was so strange. I had this dream that there was three beings, human, in my living room,
Hmm.
and I was talking to them, telling them, "Yeah, I can see when ships come in." And then all of a sudden there was a bunch of noise at my front door. So I went and looked out, and there was another being reaching over my back gate. And I went back and I said, "Well, that was really weird." And so I started talking again and I could hear the rattling again. So I go and I open up the door and it's like, "What do you want?" And he goes, "Oh, I want to get in your neighbor's backyard." And I was like, "Okay, well, his is the next gate over. Have at it, would you please?"
Yeah.
And I shut the door. And then the next thing I remember is laying on my bed, and there was three screens that opened up. Two were long rectangles, and the other one looked more like a TV screen. And I was telling the beings that, when it comes into the area of the screen, I can see them better. So before it got into the screen, it was gunmetal gray, which is what the color that the cigar shaped one that was phasing in and out that I saw on my daughter's
Huh.
birthday.
How
Anyway,
very.
so as soon as this craft got to where the middle screen was, it showed up on there as purple craft. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly what happens. And it was, I don't remember, that must have been the end of the dream, but I had logged it all down. And the next night it was Christmas Eve night. My daughter made reservations for us to go eat dinner at this place in Moraga. And so we're driving there, and I was like, yeah, I had this really weird dream that something was going on outside the gate, and it was just strange. And she goes, really? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, well, let me tell you. I heard something and I turned on the video camera and I recorded it when you were, at that same time. And so she saved it and I went back and it was all metallic sounds. And it was just really strange. At the same time
Huh.
I was having this experience, she was recording something outside with metallic sounds. And I've never heard anything like it before or since. Um, so that helped really cement it for her that things are really going on. I mean, I have paranormal things going on in my house all the time. Lights go on and off, fans go on and off. Um, One day I was at the sink washing dishes, and off of my butcher block cart, an empty plastic sorbet container flew off, rolled around the kitchen, and rolled right up to the side of my foot and went bink, 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 all the way
Hmm.
across the kitchen. And it was not in a straight line. I mean, things happen all the time in my house.
Well,
Yeah, it's familiar.
you know, yeah, people need to move into this reality. They really do because they've been uh, at no fault of their own. They've been living a reality that doesn't include this, and that if they only knew um, how much it's included in their reality, but they don't see it, they don't sense it, and they don't deny it. I often wonder how many people are in the closet about this stuff. would never
Yes.
admit it or deny, and always deny it to you, or want to shut up right away the minute you even bring it up, which is a giveaway. It might be in the millions, but they're denying it.
Right.
And the way things are
Right.
going right now, soon they will not have that
Right.
option, not unless they choose
And
to,
yeah.
flat out not
Yeah.
deny it. Wow.
Yeah.
So you're.
An interesting an interesting thing that happened out of all this was I decided to disclose this to my son,
Mhm.
thinking he may think I'm really, and he goes, "Yeah, mom, I'm really into that stuff." And I'm like,
Ah, that's
yeah,
great.
there was a time that I actually remember having an experience. I was working with his energy at night, trying to help clear something from him. And I remember doing that. And then I went to bed. And in the middle of the night, sometime, I was aboard a craft laying down. I looked over, and my son was right next to me. And the only thing I can account for that happening is that I was working with his energy before going to bed, and I still had his energy with me. That's my take on it. I mean, it's familial, so
Mhm.
yeah, he has experiences as well.
It makes sense, and you're not the first person to tell me that. And in fact, um, Susie Hansen, uh, her experience that she had of many. I mean, she wrote a whole book about it. I think you know about her. One of the things is her son. She was shown at an early age who he'd be. They showed her his soul, which was an orb, and on board the craft, and said, "This would be your son." And they had a relationship before he was born. And so they've always had that connection going on that you had. Um, and they're always on board. And many times he'd come with her, and he'd get on the craft, and he'd be running up and down the hallways, and just enjoying the whole thing, no fear at all. Um,
Right.
and I think that's wonderful. The thing the way I look at our channel is that we're the close encounters of the third kind of this kind of subject matter, because we look at this as, yes, it can be frightening at first because the unknown's that way, but when it becomes known to you what's going on, then it goes to another level of wonder, and
Yeah.
really beautiful experiences and things that enrich your life. And I'm getting that from you, as I get it from a lot of people in this age of a narrative that's being pushed, that's alternate to this, which I don't even want to mention what they're calling it. So, because I don't like the negativity
Yeah.
that goes along with it. So now you're working with people who have paranormal experiences, and um, or have UFO experiences. They're all the same. They're really all related, but you're helping them um, heal, literally, and being okay with this.
Yeah.
And when they leave
Yeah.
you, they
And
look at the
I
world no
also
different.
help, I mean, I help cancer patients and yeah,
You
emotional
do.
issues, past life issues. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm aware of groups of people that work together, and they do healing through group meditation. There's a name for it too, the type of healing with the hands and the heat. Uh, and overall, it's been very, very successful. And the public's really
Hmm.
unaware of this. They think it's all new age mumbo jumbo, or what do they call it, woo woo, but it's not. And I've seen it again and again. And I've seen also the Greys heal people. I knew someone who had polio, and she had been wearing braces all her life. And one of the conferences, this is back in the 90s, she showed up, braces gone, she walks normal. And she's telling them, they healed me. And I know you've heard of it, and I
Wow,
know
that's
you've been
amazing.
part of it. So yeah, it's incredible. So
Yeah.
before we close, um, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience? Anything you think may promote more healing and more comfort about these subjects, or the one big subject that I kind of put it under one roof with?
Yeah. Um, Last year at Contact in the Desert, I was the person that volunteered to be hypnotized or hypno-regressed by Yvonne Smith. And so when I was under, evidently, I popped up and the entity that I channel came through to give everybody a message. And what he said was that as a result of all the trauma that I'd gone through at their hands throughout my lifetime, was they had told me that I had earned a seat at their table.
Wow.
And the table that was shown was um, full of different races
Oh boy.
in military type garb, right? And that I was also of that table,
Was it a
and that I
long
was a
table?
hybrid.
Was it a long table?
It was oval,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
oval.
I'm asking this because
So
I'm
yeah,
familiar with that table, and what was at the very end of it and stood up was something that it was a tall gray type being, but she had this very, very large eyes, and she almost looked mantis like. And I was brought there, and they gave me a message, and so when you started describing that, I knew exactly what you were describing, and of course, you always get that chill, you
yeah,
know. Wow, here's
yeah,
somebody who I haven't talked to that much, or we certainly haven't talked about this, and you're bringing up things I've already
right.
familiar with. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, evidently,
So
we've all of our um, DNA has been adjusted uh,
it has. It
in the
has.
womb
I,
and up
I
to
can share with you,
present.
like, right. One day I because I couldn't remember what color eyes my son had. So I went
Oh,
over to his house. I said, "What color are your eyes?" And he goes, "Mom, my eyes change color." And I was
wow.
like, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah, that's why. Wow.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
And
again, what
I don't know much about the RH stuff, but I'm RH negative. So
yeah, I don't know what I am. And I've been in the hospital for surgeries enough. You think I would know, but I'm going to find out the next time I have my well check in September.
yeah,
So, what would you tell
yeah.
people who are on the fence and feel afraid still? What would you share with them um, to comfort them?
It's going to be okay. We're all interconnected. I believe in the theory of the consciousness of one, and we're all related through that. And as humans, we're programmed with fear, but we don't have to live in fear. It's a choice. And if you're having fear around it, seek out somebody that can help you with that. And it may not be your regular therapist. It may be somebody
Yeah.
that's a little woo woo. Yeah.
Yeah, a little woo woo. You know, a lot of those therapists are starting to understand that there's a reality to this. Thank you, Dr. John
Hmm.
Mack, and
Yeah.
others for bringing
Yeah.
credibility to this,
Yeah.
but they are, and they're starting to realize this is something that you don't prescribe pills to or tell them to go get help
Yeah.
beyond what they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That is the best
Yeah. I
advice,
mean, I've been with it is. I've been with my therapist for God over 10 years now,
right?
and she's seen the evolution,
Hmm.
and she doesn't question what I tell her because she knows that what I experience is real.
And
And
there's a bigger
and
reality
to
opening
have
up
that
there.
validation, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
how could you not
it is
embrace
happening.
how could you not embrace a reality that's so much larger than most people have ever imagined, that it's so wondrous over watching the 6 o'clock news telling you
Hmm.
that what goes up must come down? You know that's not true.
Yeah, right,
And that there's
right,
only three
right.
dimensions and so on and so forth. Wow.
Yeah, says the Flatlanders.
Yeah. I have a friend of ours who's a spiritualist and healer and a Reiki person. She says they're earthbound.
Mm-hmm.
and we need
Mm-hmm.
to help them. We need to help them
Yeah.
get their wings. So,
I,
Erin, thank you
I
for
first started
coming
my
on and sharing.
mediumship. Yeah, you're welcome. I was just going to say I first started my mediumship journey in the spiritualist church. So yeah, I've
Wow,
done year-long mentorships with different people, and yeah. So thank you.
terrific. And in closing, do you have a website or somewhere people can get in contact with you? Because that's kind of important. This is your
Well,
work.
hopefully within the next week or two, it'll be erinmcadam.com. No
Okay.
S on the end of McAdams, but
Okay.
erinmcadam.com. Yeah,
I will put that link up
I
as
do.
soon as you send it to me, because it'll take me
Okay,
a week
great.
or
Yeah,
so
I
to
do
edit.
distance work.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks so
All
much. I
right.
always enjoy talking to you,
Yeah.
and
Thank
I
you.
look forward to meeting you in person very soon. That contact.
Indeed, next week.
All right.
Indeed. All right. Thanks, Steve. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.